Students at 60 high schools all across the country will soon be able to take a brand new AP course, African American Studies.
The revised curriculum of AP African American Studies for high schoolers has been released. Some of the contemporary topics like critical race theory and Black Lives Matter have been stripped.
The changes were seen as a victory for Republicans like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who had announced plans to ban the old version of the course in his state last month.
The fact that we refuse to teach the accurate history of this country, we refuse to talk about April 4th, 1968, February 8th, 68, the Orangeburg Massacre. You have all of these black soldiers coming home from a war in Vietnam being treated like second-class citizens. That's not, something that is a fairy tale. That is a history of who we are.
But now that Africa is getting independent and in a position to create its own image, and it's a positive image, those of us in the West look at the African image and see how positive it is. We begin to identify with it. We become proud of Africa, and we become proud of our African blood, our African heritage.
Representation in the classroom isn't just a matter of inclusion, it's a matter of shaping confident students. Ever since its release in the 2024/25 school year, AP African American Studies has been a light that illuminates the minds of young scholars all across this country. This class fully immerses students in the rich history and culture of the African American experience. To learn more about this course, I sat down with our Social Studies Department Director, Mr. Butler.
So AP African American Studies is a course that I think would serve well in any school district because it's a history course. Even though the emphasis is on African American Studies, African American Studies is really a part of history, the broader history. Unfortunately, throughout much of American history, the idea of African American Studies or women's studies or Asian studies is kind of thought of as an extra, an ancillary piece of a historical study. But it's really history. And so if you consider the idea that most anthropologists and social scientists believe that mankind originated in Central East Africa, that really is certainly part of the history of the human family. And so I think it's important for all schools, but Baldwin, since I've been here the last 30 years, has become a more diverse community. And I think it's particularly important for students of diverse backgrounds to really see themselves in history. And so for Baldwin students, the population is about maybe 50 or 60% African American. AP African American Studies is certainly a way of allowing students to see themselves in history.
I was pregnant with their fourth child while they were sent away. What I like about the course is that it's fun. We're able to freely express ourselves, and the information that we get taught is very informational.
The curriculum for this class is based off of material gathered from artistic, political, musical, and intellectual movements that have occurred within the African American community. So in this class, a little bit different than a pure history course, we're studying all kinds of aspects of African American life. We're studying art, and we're studying music, and we're studying literature, as well as historical events. We're studying film and modern television shows, and so it really creates this kind of rich content that gives us this full picture of all the contributions that African Americans have made and the experience that they've had.
One thing that I extremely like about this course is how intellectual all our conversations are. It's feels like a safe space where you can express your opinions and have strong conversation about different topics and political topics and historical events, and I just really enjoy that about the class.
The kids have these really enriched discussions, a little bit different from any other class I've had, because I think there's so much of the material that relates to them. So much of the material feels like a lived experience. So the discussions are so engaging and enjoyable and informative.
I like that I get to learn about African American history because as an African American like myself who isn't really from the Caribbean or anything, I get to learn about the history of my people coming here and the traditions that they had and things that they did to rebel and just show overall Black empowerment.
So African American Studies, again, For all students, it will broaden your horizon. We often get a better appreciation for history and other people when we get to see their contributions to history and their contributions to the world. But for African American students in particular, it will give them a more direct peek to the contributions of their ancestors. We understand that each of us, we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. And when we have a better understanding of what they've accomplished, it can serve as a springboard for us to do at least what they've done and more. For all of our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents, the hope and the expectation has always been that they would sacrifice themselves so that their future generations could have a better life, to accomplish more, and to help create a better world for all of us. So the idea is that hopefully education serves as a motivating force for people to create a better universe.
We'd like to keep developing it to attract as many students as possible, and the way we plan to do that is to just make it as relevant to students and as interesting to students as possible, as connected to their lives as possible, and also to use a variety of different means to teach the African American experience. So we'll continue to use and develop the use of literature and art. Movies are a great way. Movies and movie analysis is a great way to learn about and to get a deeper understanding of the African American experience. Of course, there's always the lived experience of field trips, and that's something we've already done this year. We've taken a field trip to the National African Burial Ground Memorial in Lower Manhattan, and that was really an incredible experience. In the future, I'd really love to take a trip to the African American National Museum in Washington, D.C. It's 4 stories of the experience of African Americans, and it's just would be a wonderful thing for our students to be able to experience. And so that's where we're heading with it.
Nice. All right, thank you.